Hey guys, this is Kishor Sankarraj and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And in this video, I would like to give a book review about the book Emil and the Detectives by Erich Kästner. Reading is my passion. I love reading. Reading is my hobby. I have a small library in my house. And this book, I actually read it yesterday afternoon, and I had this idea of giving a book review to you guys. So, this story starts in Greenfield with a small boy called Emil, and his mother actually sends him 70 pounds with him to go to his grandmother who lives in the city. And that 70 pounds is actually 10 pounds for him and 60 pounds for his grandmother. And for some people, 60 pounds was not a really kind of a deal, but for Emil and his mother, it was a pretty big deal. And as soon as Emil left in the train, he met a lot of people, and one of them was Mr. Green. But Emil found him suspicious because he gave him a chocolate which was kind of weirdly wrapped, and he couldn't find out if it was like a fake one or a real. So to please him, he took one chocolate, he ate it, and after some time he fell asleep. But before that, to keep the money safe, he actually pinned it to his coat. So he took the notes, he folded it into half, then he pinned it to his coat. And when he was trying not to fall asleep, so for not falling asleep, he was counting flies. First there were 23 and then there were 22. So he was confused how did the number changed. So by thinking, he just fell asleep. And when the train stopped, he woke up and he found himself on the on the bench sleeping, and Mr. Green was not there. And when he felt his pocket, the pin was laying inside his pocket, and there were no 70-pound notes. The notes were nowhere to be seen. So he knew that Mr. Green had taken this 70-pound notes. So he went in search of him, and when he got out of the carriage, he saw Mr. Green's top of his hat, like he was wearing a hat. So he saw the top of his hat and he decided to follow him. He gave the ticket to the ticket counter and he came out running past him. And his mother had given him a pot of flowers for his grandmother and also a really big case for him to store all the clothes. But those both were really heavy and Emil wanted to keep him down, but someone might really take it. So he just took it with all his might, and Mr. Green got into a tram. And Emil, he went inside the tram and he realized that he had no money left. And the tram conductor was coming near and he had to give the ticket. So when the tram conductor came to him, he actually asked him where's the ticket, and he said that there was no money. But a really kind man who was sitting next to him gave him the money to buy a ticket, and he couldn't thank him enough. So as soon as Mr. Green got down, Emil too got down, and Mr. Green took a taxi and he went to a hotel which is quite nearby. And Emil was confused because it was just less than 50 yards away, but Mr. Green had taken a taxi. So afterwards, when he followed him, he was behind a bush and he was looking at him. Then he met a friend of his, his name was Paul, and he narrated the whole story to him. And Emil had asked Paul to bring some friends. And so after 7 minutes, there were around 20 boys with him. One of them was the captain. They all shook hands, they all were friends. And Emil narrated the whole story to all those guys. And they decided to make a plan. So once Mr. Green finished eating, he went to a taxi, and the captain told all the boys to get money from their houses. So they had almost $3 or $4. So they used it to follow Mr. Green, and after they followed Mr. Green, he went inside a hotel. So Paul and all those guys, they were thinking what to do. So there was a lift boy inside. So Paul went inside, asked the lift boy for some clothes, narrated the whole story to him, and the lift boy decided to help him by giving him some lift boy clothes. So after wearing it, Paul was standing in front of Mr. Green's door. He was actually in the hotel. And after Mr. Green came out, Paul actually asked him that if he wanted something, Mr. Green actually wanted him to wake him up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So this was actually really good because Emil can know the time when he's leaving the hotel. So after that, they all ate from their houses. They just went to their houses. Emil went to his friend's house and ate and came. And they slept in a small room in the hotel. And after that, when Mr. Green woke up, they actually sent a little boy called Tuesday to his house to usually call all the people. So they would go and call Tuesday, and Tuesday would inform all the people to arrive at the city square. So after he arrived at the city square, they thought of a plan. So they made a circle around him and walked wherever he goes. So after some time, a ball was thrown at him, at Mr. Green. So he jumped and he started running. But as soon as he saw a bank, he went inside the bank. And the captain told that all the boys would stay outside, and the captain and Paul went inside. So when it was Mr. Green's turn, he went to the bank manager and told that I need change for the 70-pound notes. So at that time, the captain said that those were not his money and it was stolen. And at that time, Mr. Green gave a hard hit on the captain's face, and Paul sounded his small motor horn, and a group of 10 boys, including Emil, came inside. And Emil claimed that the money was his. But after a lot of interrogations, there was no proof that it belonged to either of those two guys. Then a sudden idea clicked on Emil's brain that he had actually pinned, as I told you, he had pinned the money with a pin to his coat. So there were 2 pinholes in each of the notes. So when the bank manager took the notes to the light, there were 2 holes. And as soon as he confirmed that there were 2 holes, Mr. Green ran out. And bank managers shouted after him, but they thought while they would go outside, Mr. Green would have been escaped. But when they went outside, they saw a group of 30 or 40 boys holding him. They held his shirt, they held his coat, they held his pants, they held him, they never left him. And like this, they marched to the police station. And at the train, when Emil was about to go to the city, the name of the man was Mr. Green. And while in the bank manager, he said that his name was Mr. Miller. And at the police station, when the police asked him what was his name, he had said that his name was Turner. So this was actually pretty funny for those guys. So the police wrote Mr. Green, Miller, Turner, and asked him that whether he had stolen the money. And he was like, yes, I did not know what to do, it just fell out. But Emil claimed that it would not have fallen out because I pinned it. And Emil's mother and father were really happy. And Emil was actually awarded 50 pounds for catching this train thief. And he was actually pretty scared. And when the reporters came and asked him that why wouldn't he just take the case to the police, but he said that he had painted the statue of Newton's red back in the country, so he thought that they would arrest him, but the reporters said that they wouldn't send their best detectives to prison. So that's how the story went, guys. After that, he gave a large tea party to all his friends, and at last, when Polly's small cousin, his mother, his father were all sitting in his house, at last, Polly asked, is there any lesson that we learned from this? And his grandmother said, there's one lesson. A friend in need is a friend indeed, guys. So be a really good friend with me by subscribing to this channel and also turning on the post notifications to get notified on all the videos, and also like and share this video and comment down below what video I should do next. And bye guys, see you next time.